Have I told you how much I love volatility? Welcome back to the weekly crypto review. So last week when I was talking about how Ethereum might be the next Bitcoin, everyone else was talking about how Bitcoin was dropping in price. It dropped a total of $400 that day out of 7,000, nearly 8,000. It's not a whole lot, but people were panicking. Everybody I saw on YouTube was talking about, oh my God, the price is falling, and not to panic. People never learn. All right, so first off, as always, if you think that the information I'm giving you is valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. If you really like what I'm doing, you can feel free to go to cryptocurious.tv/support and feel free to send some crypto my way. So let's start with the chart. And as always, this is the weekly chart because there's no point in looking at the daily chart at this point. So what do we see? Well, the last week has been an up week. We have gone up in price. At this point, and I'm recording this on Friday, we're looking at an open of 6,900, and so far we're at 77. So it's gone up nearly $1,000 this week. It lost $400 last Friday, yet it's gone up nearly $1,000 now. This is the pattern we expect to see for now. Everybody's talking about the halving. Everyone's talking about how it's going to cause the price of Bitcoin to go up, and it will, and not until after the halving happens, and that's going to be the end of May next year. So I thought I would talk about a topic everybody wants to talk about, and that is how to make $1 million in crypto. How do you make $1 million in crypto? And the answer is actually much simpler than most people think. It is nothing you haven't heard before. Okay? As always, this is not financial advice. This is not investment advice. I no longer have my licenses, and even if I did, I cannot talk to you specifically about your specific needs and desires. So this can't be, in any way, investment advice of any form. I'm also not trying to tell you you should do this. I'm simply telling you, here's what I see, and here's what I plan to do. You have to determine for yourself, do your own research, decide for yourself if this is something that's viable for you. So, how do you make $1 million? It's actually pretty simple. So, let's assume that I bought a Bitcoin. Okay, and let's assume that I bought that Bitcoin somewhere down over in this area. Somewhere, 1st of April. About that. This big, tall green candle. Okay, which is what I did. I bought a little over 1 Bitcoin, and I got it at 4,900, thereabouts. Now, Bitcoin bottomed out at around 3,200. I missed $1,000, not quite $2,000 in price action. Now, considering that I expect Bitcoin to go up to $250,000 a Bitcoin, $2,000 is not anything I'm going to cry over. It's not a problem. One of the biggest issues I see with people is that they are concerned. You know, they'll see what's going on here, okay, and they'll see it's dropping. If only I wait long enough, it'll drop to a price where, because I didn't get in before, or I got out, but I want to get in at the lowest price, and they become obsessed with getting that lowest price. I understand that. That's how I felt back here. Back in January, I was waiting for the price of Bitcoin to drop. I was hoping, didn't expect it to, but I was hoping it would drop to 2,500 because I had taken, so last November, my job went away. Through no fault of my own. It was basically the company got bought and they didn't need my help anymore. They gave me a severance. So I took $5,000 of that severance and set it aside for investing in Bitcoin because I understood that Bitcoin was getting near the bottom. My hope was that if it dropped to $2,500 a Bitcoin, I could buy 2 Bitcoin. That was really what I was hoping for. That didn't happen. So as soon as I saw it jump back up here in April, I realized, okay, I need to get in or I'm going to miss the bus. Simple as that. I don't need to hit the bottom. I just have to be near the bottom. First rule, don't worry about hitting the highs and the lows. Just worry about getting in at near the bottom and out near the top. And near is relative. It's subjective. Did you make money? Good. You got out at the right time. So now that I'm in, what do? Do I worry about all this chop? Okay. We're going sideways. We're going down a little bit. I mean, if you look at this, it's a weird looking because we're looking at a weekly, especially because we're looking at a weekly. Let's see if I can change this to maybe a monthly. Might give us a better. That's a little bit better. So if I look at this on the monthly, here's the pole. This is a bear flag. Okay, here's the pole and here's the flag. This is a positive sign. This is what you would look for to decide the price is going to go up. That's absolutely a good sign. Okay, so I have no concerns. Remember, we're looking at the long term. We're looking at a swing trade over months or years. Okay, and we know that Bitcoin has a 4-year cycle. Now, I can't take credit for that. I watched Bob Lucas, and he's the one who I have to give credit to for bringing out this whole 4-year Bitcoin cycle. Bitcoin is 11 years old, turned 11 in October. So if it's a 4-year cycle, we've roughly got 2 full cycles in the history of Bitcoin. That's not a huge amount of history, but it's enough to look at it and say, hey, I see a pattern. It happened twice. Will it continue to happen? Will it happen again? Well, there's no reason to believe that it won't. So that's what I'm working on, is I'm working on that pattern, okay? And so when I look at this and I see that we're up this week, so where were we on the monthly? We were down, weren't we? Yeah, we're down monthly for the month of November. And that's fine. I'm not worried about it. Beautiful bull flag with a pole right here. I'm not worried about that. So we come in and we look at this. I'm not worried about this chop. Volatility is wonderful. The trader loves volatility. Volatility is where a trader makes money. Now, I am not short-term trading. I am long-term swing trading. I am trying to catch the bottom and then again catch the top. That's all I worry about, is catching the bottom and the top. And I don't have to be exact. When we're talking about a difference of, well, let's see, in this case, we're talking from $400 where I'm at here to, $20,000. I don't have to catch the exact top to make a lot of money. Don't worry about catching the exact top. And the same with the exact bottom. I didn't catch it at 3,200. I'm not worried about it. So how do I make $1 million? So I buy my 1 Bitcoin here at $4,900. I let Bitcoin go up over the next couple of years, probably around the end of 2021, thereabouts. And of course, again, massive disclaimer. No one knows what the price of Bitcoin is going to do. We're speculating. We're guessing. It's an educated guess based on experience, based on information, but it's a guess. Understand that. It's always a guess. So we're guessing. We believe that Bitcoin is going to go up to at least $100,000. Quite a few of us are saying $200,000. I've heard, actually, I was watching a guy last week. Optical Art is the name of the channel. And he's using all of these fancy charting tools. He was using Fibonacci lines and Fibonacci fans. No, it was Fibonacci pitchforks and Fibonacci circles. And he's talking about how this is going to work here, and we're going to if we take and copy this and move it over here, and he's saying here's when it's going to happen. Here's the price it's going to be at. And he's calling $300,000 at the December of 2021. Well, okay, I'm not a person who uses a lot of tools. I don't need them. All the tools I need are right here. Okay, I've got my MACD and I've got my RSI. That's really all I need for my personal charting. I don't, and of course I've got some moving averages. I'm not concerned about all of the little details because I'm not day trading. I'm not trading fast. I'm taking the long term and the higher reward. I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on gains as they happen. A couple of weeks ago, I showed you a chart where it talked about 94% of the days that if you bought Bitcoin in 94% of the last 11 years, you're up, you're making money. Well, if you bought that 6%, you're down, you've lost money. The other thing is that most of the huge, really big gains happened within 10 days. So if you didn't have money in on those 10 days, over the last 11 years, only 10 days really made a big, huge difference. If you didn't have money in the market during those 10 days, you didn't make a whole lot of money. Okay? I don't want to lose out. I don't want a chance losing out on that. Did I expect the price of Bitcoin to drop when it got up here to 14,000? Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good chance of it. Did I pull money out? No, I don't need to. This 14,000 to, what is it? The low is at 65.15. So 50%, more than 50% drop. Yeah, it would be great. I certainly getting out at the high of 14,000 and getting back in at around 6,500 would be great, but I'm not worried about it because I know that the price is going to go so much higher. So here's the secret, and listen carefully. Here's how you make $1 million. You get in near the bottom of a bull run. In this case, that would have been honestly anywhere up until now. If you're not in now and you want to make $1 million, you still can. If you buy a Bitcoin, it's going to cost you more now than it did back here, okay? But it's still, for some, it's still affordable. It's less than $10,000. And remember, this is the last time we're going to see a 4-digit price on Bitcoin. Once it goes up above, what was it? It was like 11.5? Yeah, 11.5, 11.6. Right up here where we have all of this resistance. If you look at it, we bounced off 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we bounced off it on the way down. We bounced off it on the way back up. That is a huge resistance level. So once we get above that, once we close above 11.5, thereabouts, and we start coming back up here, we're never going to come back down below it again. That I do not see that ever happening again. The advantage is now you have the ability and the chance to buy cheap Bitcoin if that's what you want to do. So you buy your Bitcoin, and you only need one. If you've got more money and you want to put more money, then that's your choice. You have to determine if that's something you're willing to do. Again, if you are panicking at this, if this bothers you, if this drop in price is causing you to lose sleep, you've got too much money in the market. Don't do that. Put only as much money into the market as you would take with you on a trip to Vegas, knowing full well that you're not going to come back with it. If you do that, you will never be upset. You'll never be concerned about investing in Bitcoin or any other investment for that matter. Okay, so we're going to assume that you're going to buy a full Bitcoin. Current price is $77.57, so around $8,000. We're going to say you've saved up a few paychecks and you've got $8,000 to buy a Bitcoin. So you buy your Bitcoin now, okay? And you just let it sit, let it sit. January comes, its price is still around $8,000 to $10,000. It's not a big deal. March, April, May, the halving. Everybody starting in probably the end of March, everybody's going to be talking about the halving. It happens the end of May. And you know what? It's not going to make a difference. The price is not going to suddenly jump up. What is going to happen is that after the halving, by, I don't know, nearly a year, a couple hundred days, you're going to start to see that price go up quite a bit. So by the end of 2020, around the end of 2020, you're going to see that price go up massively. We'll probably get up above $20,000 per Bitcoin. And you continue to let it go, and you let it set, and you let it set, and you let it set all the way through this bull run, which isn't going to end until like I said, probably near the end, around the end of 2021. Okay, so all of next year and most of the year after, you're just going to let that sit. Patience is a virtue, and this is why. Don't worry about what the market's doing today. Don't worry about what the market's doing this week. Don't worry about what the market's doing this month. We're looking at the big gains, the massive gains, the 100x gains. Although it may not be that big, it's still going to be in far more than you would get in stocks over this time period, okay? So we're waiting for it to peak. Okay, and so we're going to see this sort of move in price at the end of 2021. And I'll be here. I will be talking about, hey, we're heading into, it's gone parabolic. We're heading into a bubble. Time to start thinking about what you're going to do with your coins. Where are you going to put them when it drops again? I'll be here to help you, and at least tell you what I'm doing. Here's what I'm doing, and here's where I'm doing it, and here's why I'm doing it. But as it goes up and it gets up here to near the top, it's going to peak out, it's going to drop, and that's fine if we understand that this is the drop. And it should be fairly easy to spot, okay, because we're going to have several weeks here of massive price action, okay? You know, in this case, we went from $5,800 to $20,000 without going down. So we went up $15,000. Okay, when we see, I don't know, probably a $50,000, that's 50 gain without a downturn, that's when we're going to be looking at and going, okay, it's parabolic. Let's look for our exit point, and we exit out somewhere in this area. Okay, near the top. It's not going to be right at the top, but it'll be near the top, relatively speaking. So let's assume Bitcoin goes to $250,000, which I think is not just possible, I think it's likely. We'll assume we get out around 250, so maybe $225,000 is where we get out. We drop $25,000, which is a huge amount of money. Granted, it's a massive amount of money, but in the grand scheme of things, 25,000 out of 250 is not that much. So we get out at $225,000. So we've gained $8,000 to $225,000. We've got $200,000 plus in profit. Okay, so we pull this off to the side and we let the market cool off, and it's going to take a year to drop down just like this. Just like it did last year, and eventually in 2023, thereabouts, the end of 2023, or I'm sorry, the end of 2022, thereabouts, into 2023, we'll hit the bottom again. So now you've got your $225,000. I am expecting the price of Bitcoin after this next bull run. I expect that the bear market will drop it down to between $30,000 and $35,000 a Bitcoin. Okay, this is why I say we're never going to see a 4-digit price on a Bitcoin again, because the next time the market drops, it's going to be so far above the $20,000 peak that we saw last time, because that's what we see every time. Okay, this drop, this bottom at 3,200 is so far above the peak that it had in the bull run prior, which was, I want to say, $1,200. So it more than double. So yeah, we're never going to see a 4-digit price on a Bitcoin again after we get above this 11.5. So now we've got out near the top, and we've let the market cool down over the next following year, because it's going to take about a year, give or take. As it drops down here, and after about a year, we start to look closer at the price and price action. What's it doing? Where's it going? Has it bottomed out yet? And you're going to have a lot of people who are going to be calling the bottom, rightly or wrongly. They're going to be calling the bottom. Typically, I wait and see. I'm not going to. I don't expect to catch the bottom. I expect to get in near the bottom. Okay? That's really all I care about. If I get out near the top and I get in near the bottom, I'm doing fine. Let's assume that the price bottoms out at, say, $33,000. and we can get back in at around $35,000. Now, we've got $225,000 to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to do some quick math here. 225,000 divided by, what did I say, 35,000? That gives us almost 6.5 Bitcoin. Okay, if we buy in at $35,000, and again, these are numbers I'm pulling out of thin air as examples. They're guesses, they're educated guesses based on what markets have done in the past. Certainly, what this market is. So, I want to make sure you understand. I'm guessing, but we're going to assume that it drops down to $33,000 a coin at the bottom, and we get in at 35. So we get back in at 35,000. Now our 1 Bitcoin that we have this time is going to buy us nearly 6.5 Bitcoin for the next run. Okay. Now where's the next run going to go? Well, if this one that we're in now goes to $250,000, I fully expect that the next one, the one after, the one that starts in 2023, 2023. And goes through 2025, 26, 2025, yeah. The one that goes through 2025 is probably going to end up with a Bitcoin of over $1 million, maybe $2 million. But now, because we sold near the top and we bought back in near the bottom of the next bull run, our 1 Bitcoin is turned into nearly 6.5. If the price of Bitcoin goes up to $1 million in the next run, and if you are watching people all over YouTube talking about it, they'll tell you that we all think that the next bull run, not this one, but the next one, will top out around $1 million. Nice round figure. Well, you've got nearly 6.5 Bitcoin at that $1 million. So you've got nearly $6.5 million worth of Bitcoin. Congratulations. It's now 2025 and you have $6.5 million. That's how you get $1 million in crypto. You buy in at the beginning of the bull run, you sell out at the end of the bull run, you let it cool off, and you buy in at the beginning of the next bull run, and you sell off at the end of the next bull run. And it takes you certainly less than 10 years. Call it 6 years, and you're a millionaire. Just that simple. All right, so that's enough of the clickbaity stuff. As always, this has gone way longer than I wanted it to, but I wanted to give you an idea of how do you do this, because most people just don't understand it. They wait until up here. They buy in up here and then wonder why they lose money. The smart people. If you're watching this video, you're one of the smart people. You're buying in. If you haven't bought in already, you're buying in down here. Well, down here is equivalent to down here last time. You're making money, and you're going to make a lot of it. Just being patient. Don't worry about the chop. Don't worry about the volatility that we're seeing now. It is insignificant, because Bitcoin has done this its entire life. This is just like this. And if we look at it now from today's perspective, there's nothing to it. It looks like a flat line. It's not. It actually is just like this. So in the next bull run, this is going to be insignificant. By the time we get to the end of this bull run, this is going to be insignificant. Don't let it bother you. So anyway, that's all I had. Until next week, keep on hodling.